All right, looks like I'm live. All right, we got one watching. Welcome, whoever that is. Let me know how it looks and how it sounds. What's it looking like and sounding like? I haven't done this in a minute. It's been a while. Still trying to see how to work this thing. It's been so long. I'm good? Okay. All right. Thanks, Nails. I'm going to start in a minute. Let me see who else comes in. All right. Okay, I'm about to start. Like I said, I haven't done this in a very long time. But I wanted to talk about a couple things. You know, it's a lot of misinformation, a lot of deception going on. And one of the things that's happening now with some words that so-called Prince William said, a lot of black folk are moderately excited about, not understanding what's really going on. So I'm going to get into that a little bit. I had to speak on it. And I will start in just a couple minutes. Okay, I'm back. All right, so I'm going to jump right into it. I say I got about four people here. So this is what's going on, and I wanted to weigh in on it right quick because this is just a situation that speaks to the mindset of a lot of folks right now. Like I said, there's a lot of deception going on, a lot of smoke screens, um, a lot of controlled opposition, and a lot of misplaced hope. And so I guess yesterday, so-called Prince William of the UK, of Britain, made some statements regarding slavery. And a lot of people, a lot of black folk are somewhat excited. Some of them are dancing around and having parties and frolicking through the daisies and tulips and giving high fives because it sounds like Prince William is finally, and the British monarchy is finally accepting responsibility for their past crimes and are going to make up for what they've done to our people. So people think. And it's important that we don't get confused, and it's important that we don't get misled. And it's important that we do research and read into things so we don't get fooled again. So this is a article from, let me share my screen. Okay, let me know if you can see that. This is an ABC News article that I pulled up online. So the reason why Prince William made these statements is based on the they didn't really want to say nothing, right? But he was pushed in a corner to speak because of what's going on in Jamaica right now. And if we do a little bit of history, you can see why something was brought up to kind of corner him into speaking on this subject. And that is that Jamaica is so-called speaking about getting true independence. So Prince William was going to, they were on their way to speak over there and ran into that type of climate where everybody is dealing with the idea of an independent Jamaica, and they're throwing around the reparations apology rhetoric. So that's the kind of climate that he walked into. So he had to say something about it. Let me know if you can see this screen. Let me see. Can't see anything. All right, let's see. Let me try it again. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've done this. All right, I think I got it now. My bad. I'm getting it. It's just coming back. It's like I said, it's been some years. There we go. Okay, here we go. All right, so Jamaica Prime Minister tells royal couple island will seek independence. And many people are excited, but we'll get into whether or not anybody should be excited or not, if this is just another game or if this is something real. So it says here Jamaica Prime Minister Andrew Holness has told Prince William and Kate that the British Commonwealth intends to become fully independent, in an unexpected announcement that comes as other countries consider cutting ties with the monarchy. So it sounds good, and but you got to be careful because we have to look at whose media this is and who's pushing the story. So basically, the Prime Minister of Jamaica is saying, we're tired, we're going to go independent. But if you pay close attention to the way this is written, it says Jamaica Prime Minister Andrew Holness has told Prince William and Kate that the British Commonwealth, very important, that's why you got to look at the wording that's used here. The British Commonwealth intends to become fully independent in an unexpected announcement that comes out. Now, see, we'll get into the Commonwealth later, but that's the thing you got to key into is how is it that the British Commonwealth is going to be independent of itself? You follow what I'm saying? Is this a true breaking from the British Commonwealth? Is the question. It says Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness told Prince William and Kate on Wednesday that the British Commonwealth intends to become fully independent in an unexpected announcement that comes as other countries consider cutting ties with the monarchy. Holness also noted that there are unresolved issues as he greeted Prince William and Kate in front of a media scrum. We're moving on, he said. We intend to fulfill our true ambitions and destiny as an independent, developed, prosperous country. The former British colony would become only the second Caribbean island to sever relations with Queen Elizabeth II in recent years, with Barbados doing so in November. So it's trying to call it a former British colony, and that's part of the trick game. And like I had in my older video called Happy Colonizees, I told you, even though they push something called neo-colonialism, there's actually no such thing. Because neo-colonialism implies that there is a end to colonialism. So there's no such thing as neo-colonialism. There's just colonialism, period, because it never ended. And that's why you have to control the narrative and not let the colonizers control the narrative, running around talking about, oh, well, we're going to give you independence because they would expect us to believe that some brothers got mad on an island or either in Africa or whatever. They got pissed off and demanded, you know what, we tired. We want to run our own land. We want to control our resources. We're good. Y'all can go back to Europe and we're good. We don't need. And then they in turn respond like, well, yeah, I guess we'll just head back and, we'll let you have this, man. It didn't work out. So, we're just going to let you guys run things and, head back to Europe. And that's what they'll have you to believe, right? But if you know the history of white supremacy, of colonialism, of all these different things, you should understand by now that is not the way these people operate. And they're not trying to operate that way, and they're not getting ready to operate that way. And just on a side note, Prince William was also in a little bit of hot water recently because of something he said that speaks to what I just told you. He was talking to, I guess, some military or something or other. He was saying that what's going on in the war between Russia and Ukraine, he was talking to the Ukrainians saying that, let me just pull it up right quick if I have it on here. Let me see. He was criticized for making racist remarks because he said that war is alien to Europe. That was a quote of what he was saying. He was saying, let me get the actual quote. He said, "For our generation, it's very alien to see this in Europe," talking about war. And so a lot of the African and non-European nations felt they felt slighted because that implies that everywhere else is chaos and barbarianism versus peaceful Europe that knows how to act civilized. When in actuality, that's all the European has done is war. That's all they have done is conquer throughout history, to show you the hypocrisy and the outright arrogance of that statement. And it just goes back to show you the mindset, the true mindset of what's going on here while people are getting happy and hopeful. You have to understand how these people operate. Nothing about the agenda of white imperialism has changed. The plan and the script is still going forth as it always has. It's just they're just being slicker about it. So back to that first article, because it mentioned Barbados, right? Now it says, quoting, it says, I did not know that the prime minister was going to say what he said today. I think it's a very important step forward, said Carlos Gulata, director of Stand Up for Jamaica, a nonprofit human rights organization that joined dozens of other groups and leaders in signing a recently published letter demanding an apology and reparations from Britain. And like I told you before, if the media is putting before you a supposed revolutionary or a supposed true pro-black activist, it's going to be somebody that's manufactured. They're not going to put nobody out there in the media like that that's for real, first of all, because this person here in this organization, they're not really asking for true reparations, which you'll see in here. And that's why they put them out here like that. They're not, like I said, they're not going to promote somebody that's truly asking for real reparations. um, And she goes on to say, this visit has brought back to light that many Jamaicans are looking forward to Jamaica becoming a fully independent republic, she said, adding that the island has all the opportunities and potential to do so. However, she noted that many worry about ongoing government corruption, which has eroded people's confidence. Now, this is somebody that's supposedly fighting for reparations per se out there. Okay. That this ABC News article is letting you know about, because they're only going to let you know about the ones that aren't a threat. Like you have other uh, operatives like that over here. Like for example, I used to talk about ADOS all the time. Same thing. They'll put their operatives out there that seem to be genuine fighters of reparations and justice and so forth. It says veteran lawmaker Mike Henry also has told the AP that he worries demands for an apology and slavery reparations will not be addressed if Jamaica chooses to become independent. So they put in here too what this lawmaker says, that there's a worry that if you guys demand reparations, then if you demand for an apology and slavery reparations, uh, they're saying that it won't be addressed if you choose to become independent. In other words, well, we're afraid if we keep asking to be independent, then they won't listen to us and our cry for reparations if we try to. In other words, you better keep us in control. In other words, this lawmaker is saying over there in Jamaica, if we even talk about not being controlled by the European, they won't even acknowledge any discussion about reparations, is what they're afraid of. So you can see these aren't, you know, again, when I get into the way these governments work and when I get into the Commonwealth and how so-called neo-colonialism works, you'll understand why all these fake people are set up the way they are, because that's part of neo-colonialism. What they do and what they've been doing is they come out and be like, well, we're no longer controlling these nations and we're going to let them go on their own and run their own government, not telling you that they got people on the islands, on the continent, paid off to carry out European policy, to carry out the will of the European corporations so that they can still benefit off of the resources and control all the resources, the land, and all the building initiatives and those type of things. They have people set up to do their bidding, and it started in the 60s. It really got kicked off, and they really got the ball rolling with that nonsense in the 60s, and they've been doing that ever since. So when you see these people that look like black leaders, whether it be in Jamaica or in the African countries, that's what you're really dealing with. You're not dealing with true independence. So when these countries talk about independence, it is a fake independence, which I've been saying. There is no independent black nation on the planet, period. But they'll have you believe there is to buy time and to keep you off your square and to keep you distracted. So now they said that the prime minister, when he mentioned independence, they're saying that if that happens, they'll be the second Caribbean island to do that since Barbados. Well, let's look at Barbados, because they're trying to give you the idea that Barbados is independent. Well, let's see if it's really independent. This is a Smithsonian Magazine article, and it says Barbados breaks with Elizabeth II to become the world's newest republic. And if you just read it on the surface, it sounds great, don't it? It sounds like the European is stepping back and allowing some black folk to have control. Don't it sound like that? And as nice as that sounds, it's just not reality, and it's more deception. And it's why we need to be just as on guard as we've always been to white supremacy, racism, white imperialism, all these different things, just as we always have. Nothing's changed, and it's not. This is not a time to get relaxed. It's a time to be more on guard. So this is what it says about Barbados, right? This was from December 2nd, 2021. It says crowds cheered as fireworks illuminated the sky in Bridgetown, Barbados, early Tuesday, marking the formal end of the island nation's nearly 400-year relationship with the British monarchy. See how they put that formal end in there? Because it ain't really an end. Slick wording. The former Caribbean colony declared its independence from the United Kingdom on November 30th, 1966, which again, same thing with Jamaica. Supposedly, both of these islands were already independent since the 60s. So it's all a trick bag. They were already so-called independent. It says November 30th, 1966, but it said it retained Elizabeth II as its ceremonial head of state until this week, as if she's stepping down. That's what they're trying to push here. Like she's no longer the head of state, right? And even when they lied to you and told you in 66 that they were independent, she was still running things back then. It says, by removing the queen from her position, the democratic nation of 300,000 people has finally cast off one of the last institutionalized vestiges of the British colonialism. So they want you to believe they're putting off the last remnants of the evil colonialist age where white folks were in power over black folks at the bottom, and now that's going to change. That's what they're pushing here. Officially becoming the world's newest republic, it says, right? All right, I'm going to skip down a little bit. Now, look, now we're going to get into the truth. We got past all the BS. Now we got to get into the real meat of what's really going on. Okay. That's why you got to read through stuff. They're going to start telling you some truth the further you get down in the article. All right. Hey, what's up, Chris? So it says Barbados Parliament chose Mason to take on a newly created role as president last month. Motley presided over Tuesday's watershed ceremony, which counted many famous Barbadians, including international pop star Rihanna, among its attendees. Motley honoring the singer as a national hero, citing her extraordinary commitment to the land of her birth, reports Livia Albeck-Ripka from the New York Times. Something else you got to watch when they start propping up the celebrities, because they always push the establishment agenda. When they start pushing out celebrities in your face, you can bet it's something that's going to be pro-establishment. It says though its leaders no longer swear loyalty to the crown, Barbados remains part of the Commonwealth of Nations. Okay, and that's what we read about in the same thing with Jamaica. It keeps talking about this Commonwealth of Nations, right? It says the leaders no longer swear loyalty to the crown, but Barbados remains part of the Commonwealth of Nations. Now, wait a minute. I thought Barbados was supposed to be independent, right? And what's the Commonwealth of Nations? A voluntary organization of 54 former British colonies that the Queen has sought to uphold through her reign, right? So they're calling the Commonwealth of Nations a group of former British colonies, right? Which is to throw you off. It goes on to say 15 realms in the Commonwealth, including Canada and Jamaica, still recognize Elizabeth as their head of state. Report Yulia Talmazan and Shira Pinson for NBC News. So they just lied earlier and was saying that they were no longer recognizing the so-called queen as the head of state. but they turn around and say, well, yeah, she's still really the head of state. Now, check this out, because this is what the Commonwealth of Nations really is. This is Wikipedia. So we can be clear on what's really going on. When you read about what it actually is defined as, this is what it is: the Commonwealth of Nations, right? Generally known simply as the Commonwealth. It's a political association of 54 member states, almost all of which are former territories of the British Empire. The chief institutions of the organizations are the Commonwealth Secretariat, which focuses on the intergovernmental aspects of the Commonwealth Foundation. And so basically, it's still Great Britain. It's still Britain. There's no, it's just a different name. So that's the trick bag, is when they say Commonwealth of Nations, it's still dealing with the same British Empire. And let's see who's the head of it. It says the head of the Commonwealth is currently Queen Elizabeth II. So the trick bag is Jamaica and Barbados. They're telling you, oh, well, we're independent of the British monarchy, but we are part of the head of the Commonwealth. Well, the Commonwealth is the British monarchy, and Queen Elizabeth is still at the head of that. So nothing's changed. But the way they spin it in these articles is something's different. So you know what I'm saying? So I don't think I read. Okay, this is what Prince William told the Jamaicans on his visit when all this is going on, right? This is Washington Post. And this was I think posted yesterday. Prince Prince William tells Jamaicans slavery stains our history. Prince William expressed his profound sorrow for the slave trade in rare remarks during a trip to Jamaica. But the prince, second in line to the British throne, stopped short of the formal apology. So he didn't really apologize. Okay, people saying it's not an apology. It says he stopped short of a formal apology that many activists in Jamaica and beyond wanted to hear. During a speech Wednesday evening to dignitaries, including Jamaica's prime minister, William called slavery abhorrent and said it never should have happened. William's comments and his omissions have sparked a debate about how the British royal family should address its historical links to slavery. William may have directly reinforced. I'm sorry. William may have directly referenced the topic of slavery, which is unusual for a senior royal, but he did not heed the call from campaigners to apologize for the actions of his forebears. And this isn't anything new. I mean, they've said stuff like this before, where they mention that they're sorry, or not mention that they're sorry. They don't really go that far either, but they'll say that it was a terrible thing that shouldn't have happened. Of course, they're not going to say they're sorry, because if they said they were sorry, that means we're being unjust. And if we're going to be the justice police of the planet, we can't let out the bag that everything we've built was built unjustly, because then people will rise up, and they won't want to be ruled anymore once they see that everything that we've established is a criminal syndicate. It's all built criminally. So they can't really apologize because then that'll open the door to, okay, we'll do something about it. They can't talk about doing something about it because that'll open the door to actual action as far as some type of reparations to fix the problems that they've caused all over the earth. And they can't open the door to that because if they share power with black people and if they diminish their power in any way, that gives black folk a competing chance to be a superpower like them. And they don't want to be in a situation where they have to compete with that. And they will never do anything where they'll risk being able to rule the way they have been. And I think that we should be, the time has come for us to just be realistic about that. Um, it doesn't make any sense in 2022 to still be having discussions, to still be asking, to still be pleading, or even to still be so called putting pressure on these people to do the right thing. They've never had intentions of doing the right thing, and they don't now. And what I always say is only a fool would try to pressure somebody into respecting them. Respect's supposed to be automatic. And after 400 plus slash thousands of years of the same thing, it seems like we should have got the hint by now, but a lot of us haven't. And another thing that they're celebrating now is, I guess, this judge that got this a sister that got put as the Supreme Court judge or something or other. I'm gonna have to talk about that too because I get tired, man. I get real tired of watching my people get taken for a ride and not standing up. You know. So just real quick, the way it works with what they call neo-colonialism, and then I'll be done in a minute. Let me see who's even on here. I don't see nobody on here. That's okay. All right. So this is when Jamaica became independent. This is Encyclopedia Britannica online. All right. And let me get rid of this ad if I can. It won't let me. So anyway, on August 6, 1962, Jamaica became independent with full dominion status within the Commonwealth under a constitution that retained the British monarch as head of state. Again, Jamaica so-called became independent in quotes with full dominion status within the Commonwealth, which we already showed you what that was, under a constitution that retained the British monarch as head of state. So basically, like I said, the British are saying you can call yourself independent as long as we still run you, pretty much. It's all a lie. Same thing with, let me see, Wikipedia. Yeah, I think I had another article here. Let me see. But you get the point. I mean, if you look up what these independent nations really are, and what's funny too is, and on a side note, there's a video, there's a movie on Netflix or one of them documentaries rather about the shooting of Bob Marley, right? and it does a real good job of showing the situation in Jamaica, why Jamaica is ridden with crime and gangs and is in the deplorable situation that it's in, and why they're so oppressed over there. They straight up show you how the politicians, and this is knowing, the people know this, the politicians, they get money sent to them to fund gangs. They fund um, sending weapons to gang rival. They set up gang rivalries. So they'll set up this street gang against this street gang, because what that does is it drowns out any of the revolutionaries or any type of revolutionary action. It's drowned it out by all the gang activity that is funded by the government, the U.S. government, and Europe. They've been doing this for years. So they pay people. Um, they actually send the weapons and they pay off people, and these people were in office. It shows you in the documentary that these people are voting for these white people to run Jamaica, knowing that these people are financing this type of illegal activity. And it keeps the people poor. It keeps the low class at that level where they can still keep a higher elite class in power. And it's been like that for years. And it does a good job of showing how it works. And these people, you see them running for office, and you see the people, drooling and falling at their feet and everything, and nothing's changed. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that situation a little bit, and show the real deal as to how colonialism still exists. It hasn't gone nowhere, and they intend to keep it here. And it's going to be up to us to get rid of it. Nobody else. In 2022, nobody should be on speaking terms with white supremacy. So with that, I am done. Let me see if there's anybody in the chat. I'm gonna stop sharing. Let me see if I got any comments or anything. Let me see. Still trying to see how this thing works. So yeah, like I said, I'll probably be talking about this situation with this judge maybe tomorrow, something like that. But I'll be trying to get back with it, man. I miss doing streams and doing the lives and doing videos. I intend to get back with it. So I appreciate those that stop by to listen. And I will hopefully be back soon. Again, those that are still around, I know I haven't been on in a while, but anybody that's still supporting, I appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all next time. Peace.